Slight change of pace email here. Well, video here, sorry. I want to talk about aging. Aging is caused, it seems very clear to me, by resistance to change. You have, on one hand, acceptance and flow, allowing things, as Bruce Lee really, coolly said in one of his most famous quotes, be like water. Water can flow. My mom, she always used to say, if you look at the aftermath of a storm, it's always the tree that's resisting, that cracks and breaks, but the long grass just accepts and flows with the winds. And I'm going to use this as an example because it's the most powerful example that I have experienced, which was the day after my breakup. And it was a extremely difficult day before, so it was a really hard day. The day after that day, so the day after my breakup, I woke up and there were gray hairs all around my beard. I am not kidding, it was literally the next day. And the internet is full of these similar stories, and I'm sure you know people that have similar stories who have lost, a child, lost a family member, gone through something traumatic, and then gray hairs appear. So stress is, doctors will tell you stress is a killer, stress is extremely unhealthy. But what's the root of it, of stress? Just saying stress is unhealthy, most modern Western medicine never really gets to the root of things, never really talks about how to prevent. It's always about what to do afterwards, what bandages to do, and it's just disappointing to me. Now let's delve into this. Stress, is when you're holding on, when there is resistance to something. And it's usually, as I want to talk about in this video, what I have learned is what ages us isn't time. It's our resistance to change. Because change is constant. It's constant, people. We have to accept this, that things are going to constantly change. Every time Facebook does something new, everyone freaks out and everyone's unhappy. But then after a few months, people are like, oh, this is better than it was before, right? Use that example now for your traumatic experience, whether it's a breakup or a loss or whatever. Your body right now is freaking out, saying, no, I don't want this change, don't want this change. Has nothing to do with loving your ex, has nothing to do with your ex being the one. And I know it's hard for you guys to see it right now, but you are going to see it at some point. And the sooner you can let go and start kind of thinking logically, the better, the healthier it is for you. But just like with Facebook, you're experiencing a big change now, and you're like, no, I don't want this change, I don't want this update, I want the old version. The old version was fine, it was excellent, it's just what I wanted. But in a few months, if you just accept it and flow with it, you're going to find it's way better. I wouldn't want to go back to how things were. In fact, ask yourself this: is there any time that you would prefer to go back to and just live in that time? Sure, we've had awesome times. I've had some of the best times of my life are in my memories. but I wouldn't want to go back. No, this is exciting. The future is unwritten, it's untold, and anything can happen. And I am a firm believer that the best is always ahead and yet to come. Because you've experienced everything that you have already, so you have that already. It's all within you. So, time doesn't age us. Resistance to change does. Write it down, or do some. Remember this because it's very key. So when you resist something, it's usually because you've become attached to it, too attached. And as you might have remembered in some of my videos, I'm not against attachment. I think there are good things about attachment, but balance is key. If you become too attached, too dependent upon anything, whether it's your job, a house, a country you live in, another person, if you're in a relationship with them, whether it's your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife, your ex-boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever, we can get attached to everything, or anything. I was attached to drinking Coca-Colas, love them. So you can become attached to anything, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with becoming attached to things, but in moderation, not too much. Because if you become too dependent, too attached on things, then you are setting yourself up for a very difficult split and breakup, because nothing lasts forever. As I said, change is constant, people. Things are constantly going to change, always. There's a good expression I'm sure you guys have heard. The only constant is change, and it's very true. It's the only thing that remains constant is change. So we have to constantly be prepared for change, and what that means is exercising our acceptance muscles. Acceptance is basically true love. True love comes along and says, whatever happens, it's fine. It's okay. I'm okay with it. Sounds lazy, sounds like, oh, why aren't you resisting? Why are you going silently into this night? Rage into the dying of the light. Balance is important. The fact is that true love takes tremendous power and tremendous strength to be able to go through something as devastating as losing a family member, or going through a breakup, or losing your job, and to be able to approach that with true love, with acceptance, and be like, this happens in life, and I'm going to flow with it, and I'm not going to let it crush me and devastate. I'm not going to hold on and attach until the bitter end. And it's like grinding your gears. It's like the car is going at 100 miles per hour and you're slamming on the brakes, and it's just crushing the vehicle. It's not good for our nerves, our body. As I said, the great example is with, for me, it was like when I started getting gray hairs instantly. And look, when it happened for me, I was 34. Yeah, 34. I was 34 when it happened. Just turned 34. And at age 34, a lot of my friends, very overweight, not in good shape, already had tons of gray hairs from life. At age 34, I was, knock on wood, in really good shape. I was training every day, looking after myself. People thought I was like 27, 28. If I'd ever say I was 34, people would be shocked. Why do people have to be shocked? No, it's not about your age. Age is just a number. I 100% believe that, because it's nothing to do with time. It's to do with mileage. How are you looking after your vehicle? How are you looking after your body and your mind? I don't really believe in too much like crazy far out stuff. But one of my far out crazy beliefs is You read in like ancient religious texts, like in Hinduism or the Quran, even in the Bible, that there were messengers and spirit and holy people that lived until the age of like 200, 300, 400. I believe that is possible. I really do. Like, if you look at a human being, there are people that smoke every day, drink every day, eat horrible food every day, have super stressful lives, yet they'll live until the age of 80. Some even live until the age of 90. Um, and then, you have now this massive awakening. People after 30, 40 years of seeing cancer and all these diseases with processed foods are waking up finally and realizing, okay, I need to start eating more healthy and realizing what healthy eating means and what's better for us and good for us. And I think we're going to see in 80 years' time that this generation of people that actually decided to wake up and shift and treat their bodies as more like a temple and have balance. I'm not saying don't smoke, don't drink, don't eat what you want. You can do that. I do. I smoke sometimes. I'll drink sometimes. I'll eat fast food sometimes. But I believe in like 80%, giving my body good things, and then 20%, of my time doing whatever I want. And I see it as a strength because if you give yourself, again, 100% pure, clean foods, that's extremism. That's not balance. And people think that they are making themselves super strong and awesome by doing that, but it's not the case, yeah, because our bodies are strengthened by things that sometimes hurt us. So if you're going to be, consuming just constantly pure clean foods, then what's going to happen when those clean foods are no longer available someday, and you have to eat something like a Big Mac? And I have experience with this as well, where I've had to do that, and you can become sick and really sick, and your body just can't handle it. So balance is key. Balance is very important. So as I've been saying, the key is to avoid extremism and to keep balanced and to remain focused. And yeah, these are just some basics. And as I said, aging has nothing to do with time. It's about resistance to change. There's another tip. So the that I want to share with you guys, which I employ into my daily practice, into my daily life, which is after a while, people are going to start noticing that you've got your neck starts to maybe ache, or your lower back starts to ache, or your right elbow starts to ache, or your left knee starts to ache, or certain parts of your body will start to ache over time. And a lot of these things are natural because of the way we do things. Think about it. You're using your mouse on your computer with probably one hand every day. This hand's totally free. You're writing with one hand every day. Now, doing these repetitive motions every day, by the way, the way our world is set up for us is, let's say, about maybe 78 to 80% bad for our bodies. The way a chair is just not healthy. The way we, take a dump on a toilet seat is not healthy. You're supposed to, I'm sure some of you might know, you're supposed to squat. This is how humans are supposed to sit, like this, okay? But most of us have lost our muscles and our ability to sit this way. This is a very healthy way to sit, because when you sit like this, it puts your body, your digestive system in a correct alignment. It actually helps with using the toilet. And I don't want to digress, but that's a huge topic in itself, just the way things are not set up for us very well. But going back to this daily practice that I like, I want to share it with everyone. I've started doing things with the other side of my body. So like, when something starts to ache, your body is talking to you. Remember that. Your body speaks to you through pain. Our bodies speak to us through pain. So when things start to ache, awareness is important. You do not keep on, doing what you're doing. You have to listen. Okay, my right hand, like recently, it started to ache right here in the middle. Of course, I do boxing and stuff, but believe it or not, it was from using the phone, like texting, my thumbs, yeah? So you have to adapt yourself, for me, I realized that the way I was using the mouse was, so I've started using my left hand. Yes, it's not as comfortable, not as easy, but you do it, and then you get to learn, and you get to exercise a different part of your brain. And, then you allow this to rest. And when it feels strong again, and it will recover, your body is amazing. Our bodies are amazing. They will recover, then you can go back to this. And then you've trained yourself a little bit how to use this hand. Same with knees. Like, we usually bend down to pick things up using, we'll do this. We'll get into the habit of doing one side. But if you learn to use your other side, you'll start to give this side a break. So the reason why I'm mentioning all this is that you can double your lifespan. At least, increase it by 20, 30, 40% if you just stop wearing down things by repetitive motion and learn to do things on the other side. Because half of your body is being rested while the other half is constantly being used repetitively. So, think about it. When I go to bed, like for most of my life, I usually kind of like lie down and I'll put this arm up. But, 2 or 3 years ago, I identified all this stuff personally from my life experience, and I started using the other hand. And it's difficult at first, but then you'll get into the habit of it, and it's a relief, actually. Then you can balance your body out, and you're not going to be doing this and then eventually causing problems down the line in your 40s and 50s or even 30s, because when you do something like this, sleep on, like in this kind of way, all night, every day for years and years, it can start to deform your body and affect your spine, your back, your digestion even. Everything is linked. I'll brush my teeth with my left hand sometimes because, there's when they're trying to identify a victim of a murder or whatever, some police are trying to identify whether the person was right or left-handed. They can tell by the teeth because some areas of the teeth are cleaner when you're a right-handed brusher and some areas are cleaner when you're a left-handed brusher. So to get a properly well-brushed mouth, I do one with my left hand sometimes, I do with my right hand sometimes. I mix it up. Okay? It's quite fun also because learning something new brings your focus into the practice. And that's why when we were children, we had less like thoughts, thinking of stupid things that were negative because we were learning. Everything was new to us. So we, even as adults, or if you're in your teens, have this opportunity to learn how to use both sides of our body. And I think children should learn all this stuff. So this video has been about aging and some of the tricks and tips that I have learned about what aging actually is, how it's caused, and how we can extend our lives. And look, the point of this isn't to live longer, okay? Anything can happen tomorrow. You never know, right? But the point is to live healthier and happier so that you're not going to be struggling with pain and resistance, okay? So that you can spend every moment of your time with less of a struggle, less resistance, more acceptance, okay? So it's resistance to changes that age us, and it's acceptance and love that's the cure and the balance to that. So cultivate your acceptance, cultivate your true love. If someone says something, you're having a conversation with them, and they say something that you disagree with, that's a great opportunity for you to practice and cultivate acceptance and true love, and just accept it and be like, oh, okay. Don't feel that need that you've got to resist and challenge, okay? So you might feel like it's a weakness if someone wins an argument or says something that you don't believe in and you let them get away with it. You might feel like that's you being weak. Well, no, that's society telling you that, hey, that's weak. But it's not. You're actually being tremendously strong and powerful. And actually, it's the people in conversations that listen and demonstrate acceptance that are loved more, that are more attractive. And you'll find that at the end, or the next day after your conversation, the person or the people around you will want to spend more time around you. But if you stand up and you're always arguing and counter-arguing and resisting, it's unattractive, and people will not want to be around that. So these are some, again, everything comes down to acceptance, self-love, as opposed to resistance. So you're going to see pretty much these themes in all of my videos, because this is the source, the core of living in a way that is just a lot more enjoyable and fun. So have fun, and exercise things that are good, okay? So I hope I've covered everything. I don't really write notes. I prefer to just go on. I guess that's why it's called Mouth of the Ape. Maybe I should call it Mouth of the Rambling Ape. But sometimes I do miss some things, and I go back and I'm like, crap, I forgot to mention this. But I think I've hit pretty much everything I wanted to in this video about aging, okay? And look, you can have people who are 17, 18, 16 who are more aged than someone who's 35, 40 if they look after themselves. Age is a number. I'm not saying that as a comforting thing. It's a fact, people. You can have an 18-year-old who's just totally wrecked their body with just what their lives and what they do with diet, alcohol, just lifestyle. And you can have someone who's 35 or double that age, who looks after themselves, doesn't resist so much, flows more. Okay, so practice these things. You're going to be grateful and thankful for it. Don't compete so much with what everyone else is doing. Focus on your own path. We're all sharing some awesome knowledge with each other here. So let's use it. Let's be ambassadors for other people. And the best way to be an ambassador for other people and to influence other people is to just do it yourself. Don't push it or preach it, just do it. And then people will see it in your actions, in your life, in your behavior, and then they will apply it themselves. All right, sending everybody out there all the best, and I hope there was something in this video that was useful. Okay, talk soon, guys. Bye.